Welcome back to Mind and Motive, the space where we explore psychology, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Phoenix, and today we're talking about something many people quietly struggle with: why you stay too long in the wrong relationship. If you've ever known something wasn't right, but stayed anyway, this episode is for you. Let's start with something important. Most people don't stay in unhealthy relationships because they're clueless. They stay because leaving feels harder than staying. You notice the red flags, you feel the discomfort, you sense the imbalance, but instead of walking away, you start negotiating with reality. You tell yourself, it's not that bad. Maybe they'll change. I've already invested so much. This isn't weakness. This is emotional conditioning. Here's what's really happening beneath the surface. First, loss aversion. Your brain is wired to avoid loss more than pursue gain. Walking away feels like failure, wasted time, or starting over. Staying feels familiar. Second, hope becomes a trap. You fall in love with potential instead of patterns. You keep waiting for the version of them that showed up at the beginning. Third, identity attachment. At some point, the relationship becomes a part of who you are. Leaving doesn't just mean losing a person. It means losing a future, a role, or a version of yourself. And fourth, emotional investment. The more time, energy, and vulnerability you've given, the harder it feels to walk away. A lot of people confuse comfort with compatibility. You might stay because it's predictable, because being alone feels scarier, because you don't want to start over. So instead of asking, is this relationship aligned with who I am becoming? You ask, can I tolerate this a little longer? That's when survival mode replaces self-respect. You stop listening to your intuition. You lower your standards. You normalize emotional exhaustion, not because you don't deserve better, but because you've adapted to less. Staying too long doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like constantly making excuses for someone's behavior, feeling emotionally drained but staying loyal, shrinking your needs to keep the peace, hoping instead of observing, feeling stuck but afraid to move. At some point, you're no longer choosing the relationship. You're avoiding the discomfort of change. Here's a powerful question. If nothing changed, would I be okay living this same relationship for the next 5 years? Not the fantasy version, not their potential, the current reality. Healthy relationships don't require you to abandon yourself. If you feel unseen, unheard, emotionally unsafe, or constantly anxious, your body is giving you information. Leaving isn't giving up. Leaving is choosing alignment over attachment to the past. Sometimes growth looks like walking away from what's familiar so you can make room for what's healthy. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who might be learning how to choose themselves. Here on Mind and Motive, we explore psychology, relationships, and human behavior to help you break out of old patterns and build healthier connections. Until next time, honor your mind, understand your motives, and remember, staying too long teaches you what leaving finally heals.